Today, I'm going to be rating beats from up-and-coming producers with my boy Max Shooter 49, platinum producer who's worked with Future, Lil Baby, Young Thug, Koivo, and so many more. We're going to be listening to beats and pointing out common mistakes that we see in beginners' beats and giving you guys solutions on how to fix problems in your beats, regardless of whether we're listening to your beat or someone else's beat. There's going to be some gems in this video that you can apply to make yourself a better producer. Anyways, enough yapping, let's get right into it. So essentially, I had my community, Sonics Academy, send in a bunch of beats where they're struggling with something in the beat. They can't figure out why it's not hitting quite right yet, or maybe there's a problem with mixing. So we're just going to go through these beats together, me and Mac, and kind of give advice on what we think would fix the issues that they kind of have going on in their beats. So let's get it. All right, this is the first one. I like it so far. All right, so he said he feels like the switch is too abrupt and it came in too late in the loop. Do you have any thoughts on like the switch? Anything that stuck out to you that you would change?
Yeah, I definitely do think the switch came in a little late. And the thing about sending stuff to drummers nowadays is that like you have to have kind of more sections in the loop just in case they may not like one section. Something else could be cool too. So having a switch up in the middle of the loop, even like in the beginning too, can also kind of throw people off guard. And what you don't want to do is make the drummer like bored, you know, when it comes to the sample. Like kind of want to have something unique coming in throughout the whole like composition. Like if you listen to a lot of old records, sometimes they're simple, but most of the time it's some complex chords. So when it comes to this, just I think it's a good dark melody, but I do think the switch came a little late. In terms of the abruptness though, keep that. Like I said, it throws people off guard and it doesn't make it boring. Sometimes you do need to have that spontaneous abruptness to catch people off guard and be like, wait a minute, this is like fire.
Yeah, I think that if it came in like even just after the first section, I feel like that could have been cool, because yeah, it just like the first section is cool enough to catch their attention, and then I think if that came in, then it'd be like, holy shit, this guy's going crazy. Like there's like a bunch of different stuff I could choose from, and then it could go back into like more simple different sections that they could just choose for like variation and stuff. But overall, just like the faster paced something is, not like actual tempo, but just changing up faster and faster will help a lot, and then they can arrange it out to be more simple whenever they make the actual beat. Play all the interesting shit first, and then if they fuck with that, then they'll figure out a way to like actually use it in their beat that makes sense and all that. So he said that this one feels more like a starter than a loop, but whatever I add makes it sound like it's too much. So let's just take a listen. You got any thoughts on that?
So the thing about it is that when he said it felt more like a starter than a loop, that statement in itself is just like what do you think it should be? I've heard stuff on the radio that is one piano with drums on it. That sounds unfinished to me, and I do like the elements you added. I feel like for simple stuff like this though, there needs to be some sort of like switch up. You could have added like some sort of pad. So for this, I would just take MIDI over and just put a different instrument over it and then have another section.
I feel like what you're saying with like the switch ups, a switch up to me, like whenever I add a switch up, it's like a full, like the vibe completely changes, like it's like a beat switch type of thing. But I do a lot of like B sections like that, where it's like right here we have like it more like it has like these big silence, right, which is cool. But yeah, B section, maybe instead of like that piano kind of sound, it's more of like that drawn out pad like he was saying, and it like actually just plays all the way through. But yeah, like I feel like someone could make a song on that and it'd be fire. Next up we got Martino. He said same exact question, would you guys say this is more of a starter or a loop? I have trouble knowing if a loop is finished or not. This is definitely a loop. I think that's definitely a loop. What do you think?
Good loop, that's it.
All right, next up we got 6O. He said, beat I made from scratch. The problem is when I try to make these realistic drums, I never know how to mix them. It's really hard to find a kick that both hits and sounds good with the other realistic drums. I think the kick hits in this one, but does not sound really good. Same for the snare. I put a little room on it, but not sure how it sounds. feel like the first thing that sticks out to me is that the loop is too loud. I feel like they feel like they're in between like a full beat drums and like drums that would be used in like a sample as like a perk loop almost, you know what I mean? Like they're too hard to be like something that's just meant to be part of the loop, but also like they feel so overpowered right now by like that piano that I feel like it just like they're not hitting. So I feel like one of the first things you could do, either turn the drums up and turn the melody down, or just turn the melody down depending on how the project file is. And then whenever because I know what you're talking about, where like you want like that texture of the real kick, but you want that knock of like a trap kind of kick. I will layer both of them. I'll put like a trap kick for the low end, but then I'll also layer in on top of that a more realistic sounding kick that has like some air and sounds like it was live recorded. And I'll just cut out all the low end on that realistic kick. So it has the character of that kick, but it has the body of like the more modern trap kind of kick. All right, next up we got Eyes to God. He said this loop feels like a finished loop, but I can't really tell. But yeah, let's see. First thing I'll say, I don't know, my headphones are too loud, but I heard a lot of harsh frequencies right there on that piano, like right off the bat. It made me want to like turn my headphones down a little bit. So I would work on the EQ a little bit on that piano.
I like the mixing on this.
I wouldn't add anything to it. I would just change the sound selection. I feel like the biggest problem on this one for me is just the sound selection. Like it just sounds just kind of generic, like generic sounds that aren't really catching my ear at all. And if this exact same idea, the exact same MIDI, everything was redone on cooler sounds, it would sound way better. What do you think?
One thing that caught my attention was the violin. I like the violin. I like the beginning. Like I would recommend, if you're watching this video, definitely like flip this, like pitch it up, do some crazy stuff to it, especially like in the first 8 bars, because I feel like it has a lot of potential. But just like he said, more live instrumentation and something that kind of stands out a little more. That right there is already catchy and hard. And then what you could also do to make that cooler is add some halftime to it or something.
So you just essentially, like, what I'm gathering is like, if you make an idea that sounds kind of generic, like you kind of like it, you'll just like use the whole audio file, the sample, and then start flipping that, right?
Yeah. But then I'll probably even do something. You know what I'm saying? The original sample itself is already hard. So if you just want to add some more textures to it, I would just start dropping a little bit, or even let's get even deeper. Pull up this Teletone audio plugin. But honestly, it's not even that much you need to do with this, and I didn't even do that much, so I could definitely play around with this. I'm probably just gonna save this project anyway. So yeah, you got yourself free collab, bro.
Real quick, before we get into the rest of this video, if you want your beats reviewed by me and other multi-platinum producers like Max Shooter, you've got to check out Sonic's Academy. Inside of here, I do 2 group calls every week where you get on live with me in Zoom, and I listen to your beats, do Q&As, do master classes on super specific topics, and I'll go on and ramble for 2 hours going super in depth on how to make more money as a producer, how to level up your music, how to network. And we also have big guests like Max Shooter come on, listen to your guys' beats, network with you guys, and all that good stuff. So if that sounds interesting, you can get 50% off your first month with the code MAC at checkout, and it'll be the first link in the description down below. Anyways, back into the video. So we got Juice. He said, who do you hear on this one, and what do you think about the sample production wise? So I guess just overall feedback. Let's see. I feel like I hear, I don't know why, I kind of heard like Lil Tecca right when it first came on. I feel like right there I got a little bored. I feel like it kind of felt a little bit like it was just the same thing looping over and over. And
to add to that, some loops don't need beat sections, bro. You can definitely send out an 8-bar loop. That's it. Like, if it's really hard and catchy, kind of let the drummer figure it out too. I gotta let people figure it out too, and that might even spark a new idea.
I like this beat, but I feel like my drums are missing something. How can I make this more polished? think that kick bounce is a little weird. I don't know if I would really add any more sounds to the drums. I feel like maybe it's just my gut feeling that like the 808 pattern might be too very like there's only like 3 808 hits, but they're not in like a bouncy locate. They just feel like they're just like, I don't know. The 808 pattern, I feel like if you just added more 808 hits, it would feel a little bit more full, maybe.
The only thing your drums are missing is that right bounce, bro. When it comes to drum pockets, I would take out some things, if anything, you know. You can work with a few drums, but if you got the bounce right, like it don't matter.
All right, next up we got Monty. He said, just want feedback on how to make the loop better. I think I would have started with that. It's interesting that na 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 na. I like that it changes every like few bars though. What are your thoughts, bro?
Add some raw synth leads because you have so much going on in the low frequency. You can give yourself a chance to make some unique higher octave frequencies with some synths.
Just want some feedback on how I could do the loop better if needed. Yeah, I think that one, I like the chord progression and I like the bounce. The mix sonically, like the drums, just the mix feels off. Like it just feels kind of messy and dirty, but not in like a good way. Just like it just doesn't feel right. But other than that, I like that, like the main idea I really fuck with. I think you have a ton of room because right now it's just chords and drums. You could definitely add in just like a crazy synth lick, like just comes in and does like some crazy licks. I think that would be cool.
I would come back to it after listening to some Neptunes and then implement something that they did, like the Korg Triton.
So Kalosh says, I feel like this sounds like a good sample, but I feel like producers would listen to this and not be able to hear how they could flip it in their head, so they wouldn't use it. As someone who makes a bunch of soul samples like that myself, sometimes I run into that same issue where I'm like, this shit sounds so hard, but like, I just know that it's not going to be the easiest thing to add drums to. Make 2 versions of it. Export the original version like that, where it's like completely unchopped or anything, and then export a flip version where you purposefully try to make it usable for a beat, whether that's chopping it, pitching it, adding effects, doing a B section where it's like half timed, whatever it is, like try to make a beat with it yourself and then export whatever you did as like the flip version that's just easy to use right out of the gate. I do that all the time with my soul samples. All right, struggling with drums, mostly with the 808. One advice on how to fix them: patterns or mixing. One of the first things, I feel like I would speed this up kind of. Like when the drums come in, it feels like a little slow for some reason. I don't know if that's just me, but like I feel like this kind of bounce would work a lot better, like 95 to 100 BPM. And then do you have any thoughts on like the 808?
Yeah, never used a Zay.
Bro, it's the Zay 808.
For that one, I would add a sub bass. Doing that R&B stuff, like R&B don't really have Zay in it, bro. R&B got sub bass in it, bro. I think it's a good beat though.
Timmer, this is a loop. Sounds a lot like my other ones. It's good, but nothing special. Wondering if you guys have any advice on how to expand and experiment more with your sound and not make the same thing over and over again. And also how to make your loops have that thing or gimmick that makes them interesting and stand out. Have the loop not just be some cool sounds that sound okay with each other. Well, let's take a listen and see. I feel like this is your kind of loop. Do you have anything that You think?
Yeah, bro, listen to music, bro. Listen to different chord progressions. Like, use midis if you have to, you know, just try to do something that is completely out of the box. Like, that's why I get so much gear, because these are all happy accident machines. Try to look at some different VSTs so you can emulate gear. But bro, if anything, just make sure you're listening to new stuff and you're trying new things.
Unsure if the bounce was too much or perfect, so kind of like, what the fuck do I do? Let's see.
Most of this critique was just overthinking, yo. Sometimes you don't gotta do nothing. Sometimes that's it. Like, that's the beat. As far as I'm hearing with this beat so far, first 20 seconds, this is hard. Drums are hard, melody hard. What else is there you can do except try to get it placed?
Ivo, the vocal chant is sample, rest is me. However, I'm unable to figure out the drums and low end. Struggling with sound selection and bounce. There's currently also no 808. So I think first thing, the melody is way too loud. So I think that's why the drums and the low end aren't cutting through. And then also I feel like for that kind of beat, it definitely needs an 808.
That melody was cool, bro, but I don't know what scale you're making that in. Before you even think about the drums, like, make sure your melody selection is good too. If you're a beginner, bro, what you need to do is recreate some beats. That's my biggest advice to you, Ivo.
All right, next up we got Tom Rabbit. Is this too chopped? I think the vocal's definitely too chopped. It feels a bit just random to me. Like, I can't tell what. It sounds like you accidentally dragged in like some chopped vocals that weren't supposed to be in the beat on top of the beat. I don't know. There's no way someone could rap on that right now. The vocal chop is taking up too much space. Those synth like bass like drops and shit, like it's just doing way too much. So I would definitely simplify the hell out of that one.
Yeah, simplify it for sure.
Next up we got Vaughn. Said mostly make samples but trying to improve my beats. Any feedback's appreciated. Personally, I think the melody on this one is actually more of a problem than the drums. And then once this like OD bright synth comes in, it just sounds like really weird, like not in a good way. It's just like I feel kind of uncomfortable when I'm hearing it.
Drum bounce is good.
This sounds like you're trying to do like some weird experimental trap kind of shit. And then this sounds like a SZA type beat. Like it just doesn't, I don't know. It's not meshing.
Yeah, just keep grinding, bro.
Hit him with the keep working, bro. So Rillick says, this is not finished as I'm in the middle of arrangement and stuff, but after a lot of feedback about modernizing my sound selection, working on my drum bouts and mixing, I would like to know how's the sound selection, how's the bounce, and the mixing quality. So let's see. I think the bounce is solid. The actual just like rhythm and stuff. The biggest sound that I would change is the hi-hat. I feel like the hi-hat needs to be like more of a crispy, like punching through with high-end kind of sound. And I think the melody might be the biggest thing sound selection wise that sounds a little bit dated to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think the drums are completely fine. Like they're cool. And yeah, maybe change at the snare. As far as I'm concerned, it's the sound selection. I don't know what you use. I think it sounded like the Mellotron. I would try to get away from that repetitive and add a little bit more expression within the next sound you make. Whatever VST you're using or whatever like acoustic instrument you're using, just make sure it's the most authentic it could possibly be, you know? And I would just say that if you want to turn this into something really fire, processing is a huge thing. I would add some granular stuff to it, or even flip that Mellotron sound to try to make it more unique.
Like your views and advice on how I can improve my sound. I'm more interested in the melody side, but I'll take advice on drum arrangement too. Honestly, I like the melody better than the drums, I think. I'm not gonna lie, I fuck with this beat. I don't know, like, I can hear young Nudie just going crazy on this shit.
I'm gonna say one thing that's gonna change the whole beat. Here's the thing, the beat is fire, but all you need to do, you hear that stretching sound in the beat? Don't you hear it stretch?
Yeah, like times, yeah.
What I would do is I would put something on top of that that is organic or isn't stretched. Like all you really needed was a pad. Adding something that isn't time stretched can take it from being like super duper weird to a good unique weird.
This is a new kind of video, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments down below if you want more videos like this. And as a reminder, if you want to get your own beats reviewed by people like me and Max Shooter, click that first link in the description and use that code MAC for 50% off your first month Sonics Academy. We got a ton of course videos in there, those weekly calls, unlimited feedback on your beats, whole bunch of good stuff. Hope to see you inside of there. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. Peace.